Hello guys, welcome back to New Film, where we talk about movies, series, and everything in between. Join me as we discuss, debate, dissect, and deconstruct your favorite shows and movies. I'm your host, Shoaib, and I'm here with
Michelle Manuel.
Yes. So today we are going to be talking about Invincible just wrapped up season 3, and there's just a whole lot to unpack. Let's dive into it.
I'll just say my thoughts in the finale just very briefly. As I said, the whole build-up of the series was challenging Mark's morality as to whether to kill or not, right?
Yeah.
And then it gets to the finale where he has finally accepted that he needs to kill at least some people, and then he gets tested on that. And then even if he wants to, he cannot kill because the guy is so stronger than him. And then that part where Oliver wanted to go and fight, and then Debbie knew that, look, she can't be doing this protection forever.
Yeah.
So he just gave
to let go.
Exactly. So she did that in the best way possible. Give him some tips to make him know that he still cares about him, at the same time letting him go so that he doesn't feel like he's also in prison.
It also shows that she trusts him and she also trusts Mark.
I think she knew that low-key. I think that's why she broke down afterwards. I feel like she knew that she would probably die.
It wouldn't end well, but she was trusting him that he will try his best.
Please come on, bro. You see your other brother being smacked down like an ant, and you come in.
And that's the thing. Even with Oliver, it goes to show that he has so much to learn. Because when he went into the fight, he was happy.
Bro, did you see that slap? Did you see that slap on the ground?
The first 3 seconds.
He was questioning.
There was a grin on his face. The hit when he was like reality hits.
Hey, that slap was crazy. He realized that he was
cut frames.
Yeah. Again, the animation, you get it. But that slap on the ground part, I was
crazy.
Like, and then you could see the menace of Conquest as she was stretching him out, explaining what he's going to go through, and then the tears was falling down, bro.
Crazy.
And then
the way the tears fell was like,
I think he was intentionally doing that to rile up Mark,
because that's the whole point. He just wanted Mark. And throughout the fight was like, why are you holding back? And then
the part that killed me for me was when Mark was down and he called him up like, no. And it was so menacing. It was like caressing him. I was like, you can do this. Get up. Or do you need some motivation? And then Mark was one motivation. Atomy was another motivation. Yeah. But I think Atomy was too much of a motivation at the end of the day. Yeah, Atomy, again, I'm so glad because, again, Atomy special. I don't know why. Yes, they did show little bits and pieces of Atom Eve's cleverness in battle, but it was nothing compared to her special episode.
One thing I want to say about Atom Eve is that as much as Atom Eve is doing so much, I believe that she's not using her power to the full potential. I think it could be two things. It's either she's not creative enough or she's not trained.
Didn't you see her as a child? As a child, like Atomic child, she was thinking.
Exactly, that's my point. As she was a child, she was doing a lot of creative stuff. But when she grew up, most of her battles, she was just throwing walls.
Yeah, so why is that the case? As you grow up, you're supposed to get better at your battles.
That's what I'm saying. So that's my point. I'm saying that, is it that she has lost her creativity or she doesn't train hard enough? Because if she always trains and she does like the simulations, she always learns new things about her powers.
I
feel like even as a kid, she was doing more creative stuff. And in the last episode, they actually did something impressive by
a few times
and all that. Like that was creative. But I feel like she can do so much more. And one thing is that her powers, someone was like, her powers are like Green Lantern. I'm like, no, it's much deeper. Exactly what she was able to create actual matter out of the construct.
Exactly. And even if it was like Green Lantern, again, we saw the way my point is that they actually laced out little bits and pieces of Atom Eve's smartness in the series.
Yeah.
Realized when he was fighting with Powerplex. Yeah. She realized almost immediately that when he punched him. Yeah. And then what she decided to do was use some sticky gum because he realized that would avoid him from moving instead of trying to put him in a cage because he knew he can hit the wall. That was a smart piece of And then only the fighting was having the Hermes man. The rest of them putting the cage for duplicates rather multiple. Yeah. Again, the names are so smart. Duplicates, multiple.
And that's the thing about Invincible. The names are simple.
Yes.
The names are simple. Yes. The guy is very durable. So what's his name? Invincible.
Yeah.
The guy can't die. What's his name? Immortal.
Yeah.
Like, the names are very simple.
Again. Charlie, the Immortal episode. It slowly but surely they were pushing Mark to, in certain situations, that, okay, how about this situation? Should he kill? How about this situation? Should he kill? How about this situation?
Any chance I get, I'm a Immortal hater. I always because he just shine.
But for me, again, when it comes to the story, let me just wrap up my story.
Okay.
When it comes to the story, it was beautifully written. As I've already said, the themes were throughout. The themes of vengeance driving you to do the exact thing you hate was shown in Armstrong Levy, and then Powerplex. The ethical morality of killing a villain, depending on what he does, was also the gray line where he drew it. Was also done in Mark.
Yeah,
right?
And then through Oliver
and Mark, and then within Mark and Cecil, we have the complications with government agencies and then superheroes, which again was something that was explored in Civil War. But I think this illustrated it beautifully. I think the medium of animation really, you get to that when you get to animation. But that's, for me, that's the story. That's my wrap up for the story. Beautiful story, beautiful everything.
Yeah, I think to also wrap it up, I think the last thing I'll talk about is the actual fight between.
I'll talk about that when it comes to the general execution, because it's an action series. But
Mark and Conquest.
Beautiful.
And I'm not going to talk about the fight exactly, but I'm going to talk about how Conquest was portrayed. And I think one thing they really did, and I love so much, was that they gave him depth.
Yeah, the little bit, a tiny bit, yeah.
They could have just made him a raging monster like Battle Beast. Battle Beast is just a raging monster.
Yeah.
But for Conquest, they at least tried to give him a little bit of depth.
I think. I
appreciate
I appreciate that. I think it doesn't humanize him per se.
That's the thing.
It does, but it doesn't humanize him the way that you defend him for anything.
It just makes us say that, Viltrumites also have feelings.
Yes, sort of, yes. And it's like, take it to your grave. That was absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So that's for me, that's with the plot.
Yeah.
Characters, I think we've already talked about the characters, but I just briefly mentioned them. Oliver, great introduction. Powerplex, absolutely amazing. Cecil, giving us his backstory, really makes us understand him. Conquest, giving that little bit of it. Again, the character is 10 over 10. Debbie is an amazing person. We love that. We are for the Atom Eve supremacy.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yeah, awesome.
Amber is trash still.
The thing about Amber is that when she's not with Mark, she's okay.
Exactly, yeah.
But when she's with Mark,
it was that particular. It was just season 1 Amber. Season 2 Amber was
like she has also grown from her experiences.
Yes.
That's also like, it's basically everyone gets character development.
Yes, I think everybody gets character. Rex. The character development of Rex was so beautiful. I feel like they made Rex character development so good, so that we feel it when he dies.
Yes.
And it worked. And I hate you guys for that. But
and I think one thing too about Rex was they showed us that even though, and that's the thing, even from the beginning when he was a jerk, he has always been selfless.
Yes, he has actually
always been selfless. Yes. But now,
it's selfless when it comes to battle.
That's what I'm saying. He's a jerk. So he's been a jerk, but he's a selfless hero, but he's a jerk.
Yes,
And it shows how he had grown and he had actually changed into becoming a better person. And the moment he said things are starting to look good, I was like, oh no. It's never a good sign when someone says that.
I'll be right back. The person is never right back. I think the character is also immortal, showing how the burden of immortality on immortal in that particular episode. Absolutely amazing. Again, Invincible, one of the things, a story and characters that may carry the whole series for me. So that one, 10 over 10 all
even
throughout.
With multiple and duplicates.
The backstory,
and showing why how the what's the word?
They split. I think this one, it shows. Maybe I'll talk about that in a different episode. But because they were both raised almost the same way. So seeing how
the thing is, multiple was like, no matter what, even if it means I have to work for the bad guys, it's fine as long as I don't work for the government. So that's the thing. Choosing between the greater evil, and he felt like working for the people. He at least gets some freedom. They at least have his back. He feels like they have his back, and he feels like the government don't have the heroes their back, because Mr. Liu literally turned into a dragon to break him out. And he actually had his back. So it goes to show that are the bad guys really the bad guys?
That thing.
That's also another parallel that they explored within.
Hey, I hear time is going. Okay. That was for characters. We have visuals and production. I'll just give a one sentence statement. Yes, Invincible's animation can be bad at a certain point. I agree with that. But for me, I will still watch it because what holds the whole film or the whole art for me is the story and the character. So in as much as it's bad, they've explained that Charlie. Now they've made me understand that animation is very hard to do. Yeah. I want Invincible every year, but it's not possible if they don't cut corners in certain parts. So in as much as I hate it, I like the fact that they put in a lot of effort into where it counts.
And that's the thing. Just look at the voice cast.
The voice cast, exactly. See how much exactly. There's a lot of things involved. So me, right now, I understand why.
I feel like the people who complain about animation, they have a valid point, but it gets to a point where it's overhated because as I'm watching it, the animation is not great. Yeah. But the story carries it so much you don't notice. It's only a few scenes where it's too much. Like, oh, nah, I caught that. But overall, when you're watching it, you don't see that the animation is bad. Yeah. But you know that when the animation is good, you actually see it because
it's very. The point that the hair was flowing. I was like, hey, Charlie.
Frames.
Oh,
I was like, bro.
The final two episodes, they really could see that the
animation is too bad. You don't really notice.
Yeah, the contrast is too wide. I think what they can do is just increase the level where the contrast is not overly wide.
It was intentional because they were trying to put emphasis on the fight just to show how much of an impact.
That means the flowing hair was not necessary, but I guess.
And that's the thing. One thing I also like about Invincible is that they actually show the impacts, the aftermath, the actual like if something were to happen after this. What happens? It's not like
they really show the
impact of, you see the aftermath.
You're able to see the distraction.
You're able to see, and I think that's something they handle very well.
Yeah.
Yes. My best soundtrack or my best songs from Invincible has up to now is "Feel It" by.
I don't remember, but I'll go and listen to it when I find out.
And that was in season 2.
Yeah.
I think So we can now move on to.
Should we do acting? Let's do voice acting again. I just have one. Everybody was amazing. I think that I have a hot take. Very hot take. I know people come for me. I think that Jeffrey Dean Morgan in the beginning, all the way to the very last end, I didn't really buy. I'm only saying that because let me just complete it.
I also say my own.
I'm only saying that because when he didn't sound like a very old man.
Exactly. So what I was going to say is that in the episode 7, when he came in and he was like, "We gave you leeway." I was like,
Yes, he sounds younger than he looks.
I thought, and that's the thing. It was based on my own bias. I thought the character was going to be a sort of old, character.
And you know when somebody's old, the voice lends that age
but
to it.
The thing is, it's not all the time.
It's not all the time. But that's why I say it's a hot take for me.
That's what I'm saying. Me personally, I had a certain expectation.
Yeah.
But then when I saw the character and saw how crazy he was, even though he was old, he didn't feel old. He felt like someone who was young.
Yeah.
So we just needed someone who sounded crazy. He didn't need to sound old.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
He just needed to sound
close
crazy.
To the end. And I bought it.
Yeah. Me, that's what I'm saying. Me, the first episode, before I actually saw the character, I was like, nah, I don't think this voice is what I want. But later, that's also my own. My own take is that in the second episode, as the fight was going on, as I was getting to understand the character, I understood why he sounded like that. It took you longer, but for me, it didn't take me as long. The first episode, I was like, no, this is not it. But then when I was like, nah. But also, I think one thing is that we have to give props to Steven
Young, Charlie. I accepted it last season that he's a good.
The Invincible episode.
Everybody sounded different.
They were all marks, but then even from the voice,
tiny flinches in their voice, tiny inflections.
Mohawk Invincible.
Yes, tiny inflections was good enough.
I think that was like my favorite Invincible variants just because of the voice.
The voice,
it just sounded. And
every single one
was just so sad.
Every single one had some character to it.
There was a tone of some.
Everyone.
In fact, everyone.
Voice acting, everyone. Even Jeffrey Dean, I said that I didn't buy it, but I bought his acting. Just that for me, it was the voice tying to the face that it was hard. But at the end, I bought it. It was beautiful. That point, they gave him that's for voice acting.
Yeah.
And we've done visuals and production.
Yeah.
We have the
ending.
Yeah, the ending. I think the ending was awesome. I think the ending. Well, the fight at the ending was. I liked it. I liked the build up to it and everything. I think it was good.
I think one thing also, I understand, but I felt some way about it was Mark's reaction to Rexplod's death.
Yes, they didn't. Yes,
I understand that he went through so much and he almost lost Eve, so he couldn't process the fact that Rex was dead. But I felt like
even when they told him was like Rex is dead, and that was it.
Yeah, so I even thought in the next episode
they will give yes, but we didn't see that. But I agree with you on that.
As the character of Rex grew, we also got to see that Mark and Rex grew closer together.
Yes, especially in that episode where he went to visit Immortal. That episode, the really showed was Dubai. I didn't see him more. Rex was like, I agree.
Nah, this. Yeah, so Rex was like, nah, no matter what happens, even if I have to stand against Cecil, I'm going to stand by Mark. So he was the one who even initially started fighting and I felt like Rex died when they mentioned he said anything. Even at
I didn't buy that. Yes,
he didn't shed a tear. He was.
I agree. I agree. He went through things, but I think that they should have given a little bit.
Yeah, so I understand what they were trying to do, but I also felt like
they should have given him something. Yeah, I agree. I think that would be.
I think some people are also mad that Rudy are taking Rex's voice out of respect.
I don't really have anything against that. Yeah, I get why. Yes, you have stolen the guy's identity, DNA. Now I come to steal his name on top of it. Yes, I can see why it's annoying. I don't really care too much about that. But okay, then I'll give the ending 10 over 10, maybe 9 point something.
Yeah, and I think the last thing was the post-credit scenes. Yes. They are trying to build up new
storylines that were not in the comics, which I appreciate. Yeah,
and I think one thing was the mind controlling creatures. It feels too much like DC's.
Yeah, it feels like some recurring villain.
You see,
the Starro.
It feels too much like Starro.
Yeah,
it also look similar.
It is Starro without the big fish there, but it is Starro.
I get the whole point, but it feels like
for me they are annoying. Then just get rid of them. Yeah, it's for me it's annoying. It's annoying.
But I think it's interesting. I would like to see the what's his name, Damien Darkblood.
Yes, I want to see him back too.
See how that plays out.
Yeah, I want to see him too. Yeah, it's a friend that's very, very new to this. It's not in the comics. It's very, very new. So I'm glad to see him back. I wonder who he's going to inhabit, whether it's Conquest, whether it's Nolan, because I don't know whether he's up to date with what's happening in the surface world. So maybe he thinks it's Nolan, or maybe it's Conquest, or maybe it's even Mark, because now Mark has, it could be anybody. I'm glad to see that as well. That's for the...
And then, we're talking about, and then the last thing that we saw was Cecil's decision to keep
Cecil there.
Alive.
I want them to change. I don't want to spoil the comic. I want them to change some things. I want Cecil to rip some of his things that he does. He figure he's all big brain.
That's what I was talking about ego. I think Cecil, because he has been able to deal with Mark and stuff, he now feels like, there are some threats he can handle. Because he was saying that he has him under 400 tons of whatever. Mark was able to lift how much? And this
Charlie.
Explosives. What news didn't they throw at Neiman?
I'm shocked. And you say this guy is the most powerful one I've seen. Cecil there, I feel like somebody should rip off his arm just so that he can
realize. He realize that I'm just a human.
Or rip off his leg or something. He should get bionic legs or something.
And that's the thing. Donald, anytime Cecil does something, Donald is like, Cecil, I know that. I understand you. We've worked together, I understand you, but this thing you are doing, are you sure?
Yeah.
And Donald is always, and I think Donald is also one of the very good.
Yeah. He is Donald. Donald is Donald.
And he coming to accept the fact that he's not the original Donald. That was another. You see, the time he realized that he died, and then they keep resurrecting him, it also built his character. He reached the point where he realized that, you know what, for the greater good, it's fine. Even if I'm not the original one, it's fine. I'll just do my best to help. And even though Mark had a fallout with Cecil, he was still willing to talk to Donald. And even though Mark had a falling out with Cecil, when he needed help, he needed something, he went to Donald. When Donald needed something, he went to Mark. So it shows that even though Cecil is
still his best, on-call person.
It's somewhat unreasonable. At least we know that Donald is there to be the voice of reason. And I think they showed his character going through, because when he found out at first, it was like, and then it also shows like everyone, no matter who you are, no one is left behind. They go through everyone's character. And that was something that was really done well.
Yeah. Finally, I'll talk about my general execution and I'll give my rating. I think as an action Spyro movie, this is as best. This is as good as you can get it.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets better than this. Yeah. Honestly, this is. I get the feeling that I got from Avengers Civil War. I got the feeling I get from Endgame is very high, but it like that sort of feeling, maybe not to that degree, but just under it. I get that feeling of satisfaction. I get the fact that story is built. I'm following characters that are growing in their own.
There's an actual story. There are themes behind it.
Exactly, and in a world where there are a lot of crap everywhere, a lot of stories that are being recycled, and then even after being recycled, they're still not done well, like Mufasa. You won't get there, whatever. But in a world where there's so many some woke crap everywhere.
Still bringing original
the original. It's not even it's still an original series, and I'm glad something is there to hold my sci-fi comic adaptation cravings in check. Because this. I mean, I'm just look at the writing. I don't read a lot of storybooks, right? But when I see this writing, I want to go and do literature in school. Oh yeah. After this, I legit wanted to write a video essay on this because of the writing. So as a sci-fi, let me not say sci-fi, as a superhero action. I mean, again, as an action movie, it delivers on the action. We all know that it delivers on the action.
The final episode, the fight was incredible. It was gory. Yeah. It was detailed.
It was amazing.
I said I was watching the episode on Thursday and I gasped. It got to a gasp. So my sister was like, "What happened?"
Yeah. Remember, I called you and I was watching it on my phone. You told me to stop. I didn't listen, right? Because I wanted to watch it. And then it got to a scene where he slapped. As soon as he slapped Oliver, I was like, I get why he said to stop.
Yes.
So I immediately put my phone down and I waited to the evening.
Yes.
And I got some food, sat down, and I decided to watch. It was amazing. Again, for me, this is a 10. At least a 10 over 8, at least a 9 over 10.
Yeah, but 9 points.
Okay. Yes, a 9 point, but not at least, but a 9 points. See, the thing is that War Robot got 9 over 10, right? And that for me was one of the best animations I've ever watched. But this, I think this is a different type of
another thing, because with this, they're able to build much more story than.
And it's a series, exactly. So I'll rate it on different skills, but this is probably like a 9.2, 9.3. Yeah. I don't want to give too high of a score because you don't know what's coming, Yeah. But yes, this is one of the best pieces of superhero art I have seen. Yeah. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. To add more to that, I think everything you said everything you said, I agree. I think Invincible does something that we don't see very often, because now people are even suffering from superhero fatigue. We keep seeing the same
thing over
and over again.
Not me though.
No, but
not me though.
It gets to a point.
Not me though.
But then
not me though.
We get every now and then we get to see that no, people are actually doing things.
Yeah, definitely.
That are actually good. And Invincible is awesome.
Yeah.
Like the story, the execution, and that's the thing. Story is one thing, but execution, executed perfectly.
Yeah.
When you're watching it, and that's what I'm saying. If it the animation is bad, but you are so engrossed in what you're watching that
every other thing is so good. The animation is not. It's not that
even
bad anymore.
The episodes that we say are not so good, if you compare it to the average thing, they're awesome. But then they are just more better episodes there. And I think execution, it does that perfectly. It's the genre of superhero, awesome. One thing they also did in the Invincible is that Image Comics. So Image Comics is the publishers of Invincible. They brought other heroes from Image Comics like Wolfman.
Yeah. Spawn didn't show up, but I think they didn't have rights.
Yeah, I think they didn't have. So I think Spawn was supposed to kill one of the Max, Mustache Max. But then, one of the Max. But instead they brought Wolfman.
Yeah.
But then they did bring Tech Jackets, which I
hope they develop him, give him some backstory in the next season. Yeah.
And they also brought some further characters like Business Baby, which we saw try to put up a fight, but wasn't able to. And it just goes to show that not everyone is strong. But then everyone is willing to
put their lives down. Yeah.
And one thing I heard that made me laugh was they said Immortal knew that something big was coming. That's why he retired on time. Have to face Conquest. But all that aside, I think general execution, superhero action, they understood it. They understood the task and they executed it perfectly. And that's why this is one of the highest ratings I've ever given. But I'll give Invincible like a 9.3 out of 10. And I don't even give 9s.
Yeah. I mean, it's it, yeah.
So far, from the beginning to the end, they've been consistent with the story. They've built a lot of characters. There are a lot of underlying themes which they revisit and build upon those themes in other episodes. And at the rate which they are going, if they continue at this pace, by the time they end, I think it'll be one of, in fact, it currently is one of the best superhero shows that's out.
Regardless of the medium.
Yeah. And we got to see that when they want to, they can give us.
If they wanted to, they will.
Bro, they will, because I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So when I finished watching the episode, I was just there for like 30 minutes, just trying to let everything sink in. I watched the end credits. I watched all the credits. It ended and the screen was black, and I was just staring at the screen. I was like, wow.
Satisfied. Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
So I think, Invincible was awesome. I enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it, well, you've seen all the spoilers here.
Yeah. Spoiler alert in the beginning.
It was really good. And also online, I've seen a lot of discussion online. Everybody is going crazy. And Invincible, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of this episode where we reviewed Invincible. I hope you enjoyed it, because I really did. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This was New Film, and thank you for watching.